Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Girl Talk Sunday. I am your host, Sandy Best Life Jones. Uh, why we have this echo, I'm not sure. Hmm, very interesting. I think it went away. So let's start again. Good evening. This is Girl Talk Sunday, and I am your host, Sandy Best Life Jones. And I am here to help women from all over the world discover the purpose and the plan for their life through honoring God, honoring their body, and owning their worth. We are a faith based platform, but all who come in peace are welcome. My guest tonight is his story is such an amazing example of what can happen when you discover who you are and what you love and God's purpose and plan for your life. And you pursue that with everything you have against all odds. Even when things don't go right, even when things are really great, you continue to pursue your passion. And then you end up living your best life and living your dream. And that's exactly what he has done. Dejarius Allen is a 15 plus year professional actor. I want to tell you who he is because his story is so inspirational to me. And it's just a reminder to me to just keep pursuing what it is that I know God has for me. His story reminds me to keep chasing my dreams. So Dejarius Allen was born to Carolyn Lamone, Harris Lamone, and Nathaniel Allen in West Memphis, Arkansas on March 29th, 1983. On both sides of his family lineage, music has always played a huge part in his life. From birth, he could sing, learning his style of singing from the Black church. His singing would take him from the church to musical theater, and he discovered his passion for acting early on in life by performing speeches for Easter Sunday and by being a part of church plays and musicals. And I remember those plays and musicals. He has a wonderful singing voice. At the tender age of 23 and without any formal training, he traveled to New York looking to discover Broadway. He would spend several years discovering the New York music scene. In the early days, he would frequent popular open mic venues like the Village Underground or Cafe Wab, even the Blue Note in Manhattan's prominent music district of the West Village. He would pick up gigs singing at weddings and at Sunday brunches. There, he would be introduced to his Brooklyn church home, St. Mark Holy Church of America, where Bishop Nathaniel Townsley Jr. was pastor. This church would be the defining factor that would lead Dejarius to passionately pursue a career in acting and music. Dejarius attended Kingsborough College in Brooklyn, New York, earning a bachelor's degree in business management while performing in all their stage productions. This would lead him to the Regional Theater Festival, where he would be nominated to compete in the Richard Malby Musical Theater Competition. He would go on to win this competition while being offered a 4-year ride to Western Connecticut State University for musical theater. There, he would be nominated by the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. for Best Actor in the Nation. He would go on to win a distinguished recognition award from the Kennedy Center for his role in Parade the Musical. After graduating college with his second bachelor's degree, Dejarius moved to Atlanta, Georgia to pursue a career in television and film. He was blessed with the opportunity to work with some of the most popular directors and actors in TV and film today, such as Tyler Perry, Robin Givens, Brian J. White, Tamala and David Mann, Pierce Brosnan, Lil Red Howery, Iman Shumpert, Tayana Taylor, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and the list goes on and on. Since 2020, Dejarius has worked on over 75 movies and TV titles. Most recently, you can catch him in Medea's Homecoming on Netflix, an episode of WeTV, Cold Locks, Cold and Windy, and BET's Under His Influence starring Iman Shumpert. You can also see him in the latest music video from Iman Shumpert titled Don't Do That. Dejarius loves acting and has no plans of stopping anytime soon. Dejarius is here. To the world of acting, he is Dejarius, but to me, he is DJ, and he is here. There he is.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Hey, what do you think when you hear your bio read out loud like that?
Oh my
What
God.
comes to your mind?
I just thank God for grace,
Woo!
for grace and mercy, because He's yet keeping me going. I promise
Yes.
you.
You
That's
have some amazing accomplishments
I thank
over
God.
the span of time that you have been in the acting industry, the movie industry.
Yes.
And you have such an inspirational story because
Thank
things didn't start out this way.
No, no, God, no, ma'am. It sure did. It's
A
been a
lot of work.
yes, a test and a trial. I promise you, it's not easy work. A lot of people see acting as something easy because you have a lot of athletes and
Mhm,
people with just natural talent. They just come off the street and do it. But it's a different, I guess, perspective when you study your craft, when you study
mhm.
any craft for that matter. So
Yeah,
it means a lot to me. It definitely.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, you know what I always do? Anytime I have a guest on Girl Talk Sunday, I make
Um,
this statement. So I'm going to make it tonight. Dejarius Allen,
yes.
tell us who you are. Tell us what you do and tell us why you do it.
Well, my name is Dejarius Nathaniel Allen, and I am a singer actor, among other things.
Yes,
um,
you are.
yeah, I love to cook. I love doing things with my hands in general, fixing and building, all of that. But my passions are singing and acting and living for the Lord, of course.
Amen.
First and foremost. Yes, indeed.
So let's start with your childhood because the childhood is the foundational piece of our life, and
Okay.
everything else we do in life is built on that foundation. So
Yes.
tell me, what was it like growing up as a kid?
Well, I mean, my earlier days, I would say, birth to like 5 years old was lived in where I was born, West Memphis, Arkansas. And at that time, I believe I was living with my grandmother for several years, and my grandfather. And I mean, I just grew up around music. My granddaddy had a group. My mom actually was in a group with her sisters and cousins back in the day called the Harris Sisters. And when I tell you they could sing, oh, they could sing. They could sing. Although they used to always tell my mom she couldn't sing. But now she
That's a lie from the pit. I know
so
that.
now she blows them out the water, right?
That's right.
But and my granddaddy, I believe they were called the Tornadoes back in the
Mhm,
day. But I remember those midnight musicals in Memphis and just midnight musicals at our church, our home church back in West Memphis, 15th Street, Church of God in Christ. Oh my God! Even as a child, I used to sit at their feet and just glean all of that talent and the anointing
mhm,
they had. Excuse me, I keep bumping my camera, but
mhm,
yeah. And then from 5 years old to about high school, actually, I grew up in Washington State. That's where we met.
mhm,
And shortly after that, my stepfather, Pastor Lamone, started a church, House of Prayer, Church of God in Christ. Superintendent Lamone now, actually. And
mhm.
of course, we as children had to work in the ministry.
Yes, yes, you did. You did it all.
I think I held every title in the church, okay, including janitor. Okay. But even was the minister of music for a time as well over at House of Prayer. And, I mean, those are just my roots, the church is my roots. That's my background. I would not be DJ or Dejarius without the black church or just the church in general, because and being an actor, you tend to glean from personalities and
Mhm,
no better place than the church to find some
Oh
characters.
my gosh, I'm sure you got some of your best material at church.
Oh yes, I did. Sure did. Sure did. Sure did.
Oh,
And
so,
after
mhm,
graduating high school or leaving high school, what have you, I decided at 23 that it was time for me to branch out, and I
mhm,
ended up in New York City by myself, of all things, at 23
mhm,
years old, and lived
mhm,
15 years there by myself. But
mhm,
I did not go there without a plan or a purpose. I went out there with determination. As you read in my bio, yes, I really was seeking to be on Broadway back in
mhm,
Washington. I actually got introduced. I mean, I say in my bio that the church definitely was the first stepping stones for that. Um,
mhm,
Easter Sunday, we used to always read our Easter Sunday speeches
mhm.
and even do the church plays and musicals that we used to do and things like that. But I remember in fourth grade, I got introduced to like stage,
Mhm,
performing stage. And
mhm,
I went to episode of, I think back in the day, they used to take all the kids to go see like the Nutcracker and all that
mhm,
during
mhm,
the year. And what my professor or my teacher then in the fourth grade, I'll never forget her, Miss Hayes Pratt. She,
mhm,
DJ, you should really consider acting. And she told me about an audition for a touring production of Alice in Wonderland at the time. And she told me to audition, and I actually went and did it and ended up getting cast in that show as the Mock Turtle. Of course, there was a singing role. Singing is always my background. That's
yes, and that you can do.
so I got that part, and because it was a singing role, and I was small enough to play it, and
Mhm.
to this day, I still remember that song. It was like so sad, so sad. Never had I wanted more to be so sad. But anyway, that solidified. I mean, the whole process.
Yeah.
Of being on stage, being in rehearsals, meeting all these different personalities on stage, and that was a massive cast at the time too, compared to anything that I've been in other than Parade. That was a
Mhm.
massive cast as well, but that just made my eyes go like this. My brain started, moving.
Is
I
that when you like kind of knew, okay, I think I want to keep doing this?
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes. When
Yeah.
I definitely knew I wanted to do it,
Mhm,
but I didn't know how to go about doing it. I didn't
mhm,
know how to go, and for years I didn't know how to go about going. My mom, she wasn't a stage mom, but she definitely, pushed us to,
mhm,
perform, mainly singing and things like that. But she still took me, every rehearsal and everything that I had to do, But I think it was not until, like I say in my bio, until I got to St. Mark Holy Church of America, where I got a real taste of professional,
mm,
because
mhm,
church was second to none. I mean, honestly, a lot of people in Brooklyn and around the world that
mhm,
know Mark consider us to be will consider that church to be like a performing arts church.
mm, mhm,
Everybody could either sing, act, rap, whatever, some type of forming of some performing talent. They had it, including the rats and the roaches. I promise you, everybody could perform at St. Mark. And I got to learn under some of the most talented people I've ever met in life, like the Demetrius Griffins and the Cherub Ruths and Bishop Nathaniel Townsley, Lady Townsley, oh, Mom Ruth, there's Jacinda Townsley. There's so many
mhm,
talented performers and gifts that God has given the St. Mark family that has branched out. They have all branched out and are doing such wonderful things in life right now. But that just gave me the inspiration to pursue it further, to actually know how to actually go about it. Like you said, when you read my bio, my first college, I wasn't studying theater. I
mhm.
was I went to school for business, and I'm glad I did, because
We
actor, you
talked about
still
that.
need to know how to
Mhm,
run your business. You got
mhm,
to know how to run your own business, as an actor. And I'm glad that I did that, because I still was able to perform in all their shows. One of my favorite shows today is Rent, the musical, and I can
mhm,
proudly say that I'm an alum of
mhm.
Rent. I got to play my favorite character, Tom Collins. I promise you, Sandy, I could play that role every day for the rest of my life. First of all, it's a wonderful storyline, but it's
Right,
also vocally in my range that is
right.
taxing. And of course, I can do all my little acrobats vocally and all that. You know,
Okay. We
but
might need to hear some of that later.
Oh Lord.
Maybe just a little bit. Just a
Okay,
little bit. Think about it. Think about it.
maybe. Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I not being a theater major, I was able to still be involved in what I loved and I knew I
Mhm.
wanted to do. And
Yeah.
it just opened the door for so much. I mean, it's so weird like how God puts you in a certain place at the right
Yeah.
time, at the
Right.
right moment to
Mhm.
be blessed, you know. It's up
Yeah.
to you to be ready for the blessing though.
Mhm.
It-
Mhm.
so um I mean, there's been other milestones throughout my life that I can say. I mean, I used to sing with Billy Rivers and the Angelic Voices of Faith out of Memphis, Tennessee. Now,
Mm.
that choir can sing. If they don't teach you nothing else, they teach you endurance, they teach you range, they
Mhm.
teach you how to blend. I mean, honestly, if you ever get a chance to go on a streaming site and just listen to the Angelic Voices of Faith, Billy
Mhm.
Rivers, you will be totally blessed. I promise you,
Okay.
totally
I have
blessed.
to check that out.
I'm telling you,
So,
I was just listening to him before you came on.
so you, your mom, your sisters moved to Washington. Mom got married. Stepdad started a church. You and your sisters worked in the church. You went to school here in Washington, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you just decided, you know what? I think I'm ready to leave.
Well, I mean, all children need to leave the nest at some
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah.
God just took me all the way to New York and alone, and that city is no easy feat. I mean, people crawling off. People look like roaches. That's how many people
Ooh.
in New York it is. I mean, just on top of each other, just stacked
Mm.
living. Oh, it's just it's that hustle and bustle. And the what is it what is it, the strongest will survive? What's the saying?
Only the strong can survive.
Only the strong. I
Mhm.
promise you got to be strong to live in New York.
How
You
much
really.
of a culture shock was that for you to move from Washington to New York?
Oh my God, I remember the first night I got to New York in
Mm.
2006 and getting off the plane and getting on the train
Mhm.
only to end up in Times Square as the first stop I made with my luggage.
Ooh.
Right to Times Square, and all I could do was just look around. It was like you had to take it in. You had to take it in and breathe because it's
Wow.
a lot. It's a lot. You know, when you live in New York, you can definitely tell a tourist versus to a
Mhm.
actual
Mhm.
New Yorker.
Because they got the deer in the headlights look.
Exactly. 'Cause that's
Mhm.
exactly what it is. You know, New Yorkers, they're on their hustle and bustle. They got a
Yeah.
mission. They're on their way to where they need to go. But a
Right.
tourist, they're looking around, they're just stopped. They're looking at the skyscrapers, they're looking at the people around them, just the diversity and all of the culture and tons of shops. And I mean, it's just anything you want is in New York City, you know.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
it can be overwhelming if you're not
Mhm.
ready for it, you know. But hey, I
Wow.
think I was built for it.
So
But it
did
was.
you have what was your plan? Who did you have a place to stay when you got there? What was the plan?
Um, I'll be honest, those early days were a struggle.
Mhm.
I did have a friend there at the time, and
Mhm.
I did rent a room from him at the time.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
New York is very expensive, so if you can't
Mhm.
live on your own, you
Right.
definitely be having a roommate or two, or three,
Mhm.
or four, or five. But you know, I did have a friend there that allowed me to get my footing. You know,
Mhm.
allowed me
Mhm.
to find a job and all
Mhm.
that. My biggest concern was I never wanted to be a struggling artist.
Right.
So I always made sure I had a backup plan
Mhm. Right. Smart.
always because I love my bills being paid and I do
Mhm.
like it a certain
Amen.
way, you know. So I always made sure that I had a plan. I never really wanted to bother mom and dad. Not that I did it, but you know, only when those times were extremely hard and
Mhm.
that helped. Thank God I had them in my corner. But
Right.
I ultimately wanted to survive on my own and make
Yeah.
it. It was, you know, my dream to be in New York and my dream to be an actor. And I wanted to make sure that I could actually support myself in doing so, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Um,
because you said when you left you had something that to prove.
I definitely did. I
Yeah.
definitely had something to prove. Actually, my dad's probably gonna be mad at me, but you know, I'm an Aries, first of all, and when
Mm.
people tell me what I can't do, I try to prove them wrong.
Mhm.
My dad, Pastor Lamone, he whispered in my ear one time when I right before I was left, and he said, "Make sure you get a round trip ticket because you may not make it in New York." I was like, "Oh."
Mm.
I'm at 23, and you know, I'm a
Challenge
little
accepted.
stubborn. I
Mm,
was a little bit stubborn and pig-headed, and not just, I thought I was grown,
mhm.
and I just decided that I was determined to make it. I was
Yeah,
determined to live in New York from 23 on, and I did for 15
yeah.
years. Sure did, before
Wow.
moving to Connecticut. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I remember in your pre-interview you saying, and you've said it a couple times tonight, that you wanted to make sure you had a backup plan.
Yes, God.
So you went back to school, you got your bachelor's in business management.
Yes, I went to school. Well, like I say in my bio too,
Mhm,
Kingsborough was very instrumental in that too,
mhm,
because I'm sitting there at, I mean, this is around 2008 at the time.
mhm,
Sitting there at around 25 years old, and I'm looking around at all these talented people, but everybody had a degree or was
mhm,
working towards one.
mhm.
I didn't want to be just a lay member in church,
Right.
just doing the shows and singing and stuff. I mean, it inspired me to go back and get my degree. You
Mhm,
know, just seeing everybody going to school and about something. They're. I mean, actually, most of my church worked for the Board of Ed of New York, so
Oh,
we had nothing but teachers around
right,
me. You
right.
know, and I mean that inspiration just always made me want to go to school. And that's a funny
Mhm,
story about that too, because I was going to go to City College in Brooklyn. I went down there to apply, and I went down there one day too late before
ah,
that, just before they ended admissions.
right.
I'll never forget it. The lady she saw my disappointment because I really wanted to go to school. I really wanted to go to school. I had wasted almost probably 6 years of my life, um,
Mm,
got a degree after high school, and
mhm.
I really wanted to. And at this point, I was very determined to get in school. And I remember when I went to the admissions office at City College, she said, "Well, Kingsborough starts a little later than us."
Mm.
Oh my God! Talking about a ram in a bush.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Mhm.
Oh, the campus alone is right on the beach, Sandy. So it's
Okay.
right on the beach. So I got to look at the ocean while I studied. It's just serenity.
Wow.
It was so much peace. And it was a beautiful, beautiful school in general.
Mhm,
It was a beautiful
mhm,
school, but they had a theater program, an
mhm.
actual theater program that I wasn't even paying attention to. I was going for business.
Right.
Saw that they were auditioning. Saw
Mhm,
that they were auditioning. But anyway, long story short, I went to Kingsborough, got in, and I
mhm.
started school that semester. And that first semester was not. I think my GPA was like a 1 point something, Sandy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why was that though? Because you was at the ocean?
No, it was because I wasn't taking it as seriously as I initially had planned.
Mhm,
Then I got approached by the student life office. I've always had to get gab, and I
mhm,
love talking to people, strangers, anything like that. But
mhm,
one of the workers in the office noticed me. Maria, I'll never forget her name. Maria came up to me and she's like, "Have you ever considered getting involved and being a part of the student body and all that?" I was like, "No, I've never thought about that."
hmm.
Long story short, Sandy, I became president of everything, vice president. I was running that school. I promise you.
Wow.
I mean, I got merit awards and everything. I had to talk in front of the Board of Education live on TV once. I honestly benefited a lot from going to Kingsborough. And it was just a moment in time that just opened my eyes to what could be if you apply
Mhm,
yourself.
mhm.
Long story short, but after I graduated there, my GPA went from a 1 point something to a 3.96.
Well, now.
I raised that. I was always capable. I just wasn't
Yeah.
applying myself.
Mhm,
To be able to do that, my studies in
mhm,
a field that I'm studying business and
mhm.
still performing in the rigorous schedule of the theater department while
Right.
still participating in student life body.
Yeah.
Like I was a busy man, and
Yeah.
somebody like me, I need to stay busy. I
Mhm,
have to stay
mhm,
busy, and that provided me so much uh, distraction from everything else that I could have been doing.
mhm, mhm,
I was focused. I was
mhm,
completely focused. And then when the festival started coming around, and I'm
mhm,
nominated for this and nominated for that, and performing in front of all these. Uh, it's Region One. That's what it was. It was the Richard Malby's for KCACTF,
mhm.
Community Center Theater Festival. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the regions. They're broken up in regions. Washington has one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in the tri-state region, and we had
Mm-hmm.
all different schools, talented actors and singers and performers coming from all these different schools to this
Mm-hmm.
one location. Mind you, we definitely had some fun. I mean,
Oh,
we
I'm
had
sure
fun.
you
I mean,
did.
when theater kids get together, we have fun. But, I mean, I'm just being in awe. Like, I mean, I had never felt like a rock star
Yeah.
until I got to perform on the stage at the Richard Mulvey's, and I'm performing in front of hundreds and hundreds of musical theater majors as
Mm-hmm.
well as theater majors. And when I'm finished, the crowd goes in uproar, just goes up. I had never that feeling right there.
Yeah.
Cement. I have to do this. I
Yeah.
love that feeling. I
It's
love.
what actors live for.
I mean, I live for that, but I also live for telling the story of the character.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love bringing the character to life. Oh
Yeah.
my, I'm passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
The actual behind the scenes work before you
Mm-hmm.
even see the performance that I do, all the behind the scenes work that we put into the rehearsals and character analysis and all of the background, finding what this person is like and trying
Mm-hmm.
to transform into this person,
Right.
love that aspect of it. I always say I'm nervous up until showtime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When it's showtime, the show must go on. That's our saying in the theater department, in theater in general. The show
Mm-hmm.
must go on, and I
Yeah.
promise you, the show will go on when I'm on stage. when I'm
So
on,
you won the Malby competition.
yes, the first year
And
I did, I
that
won.
came
Yes, hmm
and with that, is that what came of the 4-year scholarship?
yes. So at that time, yes, I was getting ready to leave or graduate from Kingsborough, and
Mm-hmm.
I performed at that year's um, festival. And
Mm-hmm.
I got approached by the chair of the theater department at Western Connecticut State
Mm-hmm.
University.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, they had just built a state of the art, 93 or $7 million state of the art Broadway worthy theater.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually it wasn't just a theater; it was a whole performing arts center where
Mm-hmm.
everything that was performing arts was there, including visual art. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we had photography, we had music engineering, we had music as well, like singers as well as musicians. All in that one building, and we all worked in tandem because when we do a musical, we need the orchestra.
Right.
So you
Right.
know and then we had our theater wing as well. Oh my God, when I tell you, I was so blessed to be one of the first classes to get to utilize that building. And if you've seen the main stage, oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
set up like a Broadway theater. And
Mm-hmm.
just a fun experience being in that atmosphere at that school. Wasn't always easy though. I had my trials, and I hate to say it, but it's not too many people that look like me that went there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to definitely work around all that. But
Right. But you
um,
got in there and did what you needed to do and came out with a degree.
I did. I adapt. I am
Yeah.
a. I will adapt. But yes, I did. I came out
Mhm.
of there with my degree, and I graduated with honors. Sure did. Sure
Look
did.
at you. So you have a degree in business management,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
degree in musical theater,
Yes, ma'am.
and you have another credential
Which one? What
that
else?
that you earned to make sure that you would always have somewhere to live or some income.
Oh, well, real estate. You talking real
Yes.
estate? Yes. Oh, yeah. I definitely went into real estate. Actually, I went into real estate before I went to college. That was the
Oh.
first thing I did when I got to New York. While I
Mm-hmm.
was working at Starbucks, right
Mm-hmm.
across the street from Macy's Herald Square,
Mm-hmm.
I was studying for my real estate license. Sure
Mm-hmm.
did. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure did. I told you, always have a backup plan.
Yes. It seems like Darius, it seems like you approach this, even though you were really young,
Mhm,
it seems like you approach this with such mature thinking. Because of course, if you can get your real estate license,
mhm,
then you can sell real estate on the side while
mhm,
you're looking for acting gigs. And
mhm.
then you have your business management degree. So you can go out and get a 9 to 5 and
Yeah,
still pursue your love of acting. And
yeah,
then you add your musical theater degree to that. So
mhm,
then it gives you more credibility as you're looking for acting gigs. You
yeah.
had such a mature way of thinking about things. Where did that come from?
I mean, I guess when you move to New York, you quickly learn that
Yeah.
survival tactic.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
have to survive. And I knew that ultimately I did want to, excuse me, perform. I wanted to perform. So, me going into real estate, it was the smartest option for me because it allowed me to have my freedom when I wanted. Like
yeah,
it would allow me to work around my schedule.
mhm,
If I got a gig. Now, mind you, while I was working at Starbucks, I was still taking up other jobs in
mhm,
between renting homes or selling homes.
mhm,
I worked at Saks Fifth Avenue.
mhm,
I worked at Bloomingdale's. I definitely had other jobs. I performed all over the city at different
mhm.
venues. I loved making a bag. I loved the check. Because I love to have a roof over my head and I love to be able to do
Yeah.
what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. So I
Mhm,
always kept money, because I was always hungry, and
mhm,
always determined to succeed. But it, like I said, it was always ups and downs. I will say that looking back, there was more ups than downs, to be honest,
mm,
because
mhm,
I always had a ram in the bush. I can
mhm,
recall, Sandy, there was so many times where I was
mhm,
my last penny in New York. And this is a true story. A true story. Me and my friend are at the laundromat.
mhm.
Excuse me. I have just 1 second. Somebody's at my door.
Oh, okay.
Come
Well,
in.
while he does that,
I'm
I'm
sorry, y'all. I am so sorry.
it's okay. I'm gonna share the live. Keep talking.
Okay. So I'm at the laundromat and I have used my last little bit of detergent and my last money to wash my clothes because I had interviews um,
Mhm,
for a job at NYU. At
mhm,
NYU College in their speech pathology audiology department. So I I I'm in there trying to wash my clothes and
mhm.
did not read the machine right, Sandy. And it said to put the detergent in after you start the wash. And I put it in before. So
Oh,
when I turned it on, all of my detergent had just ran out of the machine.
oh no,
Right.
oh no.
I had no more. Now, why did this lady out of the blue walk up to me and
Uh-huh,
give me a cup of detergent, right? Just
uh-huh.
for my laundry to get washed properly. Then she walked away. Then she walked back up to me and she said, God laid this on my heart to give you this. Put money into my hand, Sandy. Put money into my hand and then proceeded to leave out of the laundromat. She didn't have any laundry. She didn't have anything. Now, mind you, New York City blocks are long, and we're in
Mhm,
the middle of one of these long city blocks. There's
mhm.
no car. It's early in the morning. There's no cars on the road, anything. So when she put the money in my hand and proceeded to walk out of the store, I mean, out of the laundromat,
Mhm.
I proceed to chase after her. It's not even 2 minutes. It's not even 2.5 seconds after she's walked out that I try to follow after her to thank her
She
again.
was gone.
Huh?
She was gone.
Sandy disappeared. There's no way. And I promise you, I got a best friend that was there. He witnessed
Mhm,
every bit of this. He could contest it. He could definitely attest to this. That
mhm,
she just disappeared. Just disappeared. That wasn't the first time that I have had been like I had that experience in New York when I was at my rock bottom lowest and
mhm.
God put the money in my hand. I'm at a newsstand one day and something says, look down, a wad of cash right there. I'm in the financial district in New York, and I'm walking. I don't know where. I think it was coming from one of the music spots or a concert or
Mhm,
something. And
mhm.
I'm walking in the financial district, and it's a windy night. And I'm walking to the train, and all of a sudden, I'm getting hit in the face with paper. I'm getting hit in the face with paper. I pull the paper down. It's money. Sandy, I looked up any number of money flying down.
Where was it coming from?
I don't know. Somebody must have threw it out of one of the windows or something. But guess what? I walked around that whole block and collected every.
No,
It came
you
to 300.
did.
It was all 20s. It came to 300 and like 20 bucks or something like that. I lied to you not. It's happened multiple times where I used to find money all the time. You can go back to some of my Facebook posts and you will
Mhm.
see that I used to post. I used to find money all the time just walking the streets of New York. Right
Wow.
when I needed it most. Right when I needed it most. But I'm just saying, I was always still trying to, survive. I
Mhm,
was always working. I was always doing something. I would always take a job, you know,
mhm.
mainly singing, mainly. But thing is, if you're not knowing, you will get taken advantage of. People will
True.
try. to take advantage of you. And you got to know, first of all, get everything in writing. Always get it right. That's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I've had my moments where I was taken advantage of, but
Yeah.
what? I gave it to God, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? This too shall pass. And guess
Yeah.
what? Be bigger and better down the road. And guess what? The people that took advantage of me,
Mm-hmm.
their whole industry or whatever they did totally shut down. You can't do dirt and dirt don't follow you. That's
That's
just my
right.
that's
That's
my
right.
you really can't. You
You
really
said
can't.
something. You said in the preview, you talked about a time when you were living with a roommate and you were giving her money for the rent, and you thought she was paying the rent, but she wasn't.
That was when I first moved to New York.
Yeah.
Me and my friend that when I told you he had got me a room there, we
Mm-hmm.
both were living in there. We both were renting a room.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the not the landlord. She was just the leaseholder. She had
Mm-hmm.
her room as well with her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and we were paying her weekly. At the time, and we were thinking that she was paying the rent, only for me to come home one day and there's locks on the doors. Mind
Mm-hmm.
you, closed. I had just got that job at NYU too, and
Mm-hmm.
the sheriff had put a lock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I was able to plead with him to allow me to just at least let me get my things. I just started the job. I need to get to work, and I got to be able to come with something new on every day. I don't
Right.
want to think I'm homeless, which
Mm-hmm.
I was technically
Technically.
was homeless. Yeah, but the sheriff allowed me. He met me back at the house and allowed me to get my things. That I mean, they normally wouldn't do that, but he
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to
Right.
get my things. So I was grateful to that. But I still was homeless. I
Mm-hmm.
was still homeless for 2 days in New York, and at that time, I had a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Either I was going to get on a bus and take it down south, where my family, where I'm from, West Memphis, where I
Mm-hmm.
had family there still, or I was going to get a room at a
Mm-hmm.
hotel and try to stick it out.
Right.
I was at the time, Craigslist was really big back then with finding rooms, and I'll never forget. I Right when I was needing to check out of that room I had um, to get on my bus to head out of town,
Mm-hmm.
got a call from somebody that I hit up days prior
Mm-hmm.
for a room to rent. And he said, well, listen, I got this room. I'm only charging $125 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can move in today. That changed everything, the whole trajectory of me being in New York, because I
Mm-hmm.
was on my way out. And this is all in the first year of me being there. I mean, actually,
Wow.
first 6 months, you know. And because of that, it allowed me to get my footing. It allowed me to get my bearings in New York. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a nice room too. I mean, huge room, furnished, everything for $125 a month. I mean, a week,
Mm-hmm.
and it included utilities and all that. But yes, there's been some troubled times. I mean, it's been some, having to rough it and having to, fend for myself and
Mm-hmm.
survive. But I've always saw it as, I'm meant to be here. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be. There's a reason why I'm here. I mean, if I had not stayed, I would not probably have my degrees. I
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
where I'm at today,
Mm-hmm.
because that was, that was one of the defining factors as well. I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
mean, when you got money raining down out the sky,
That
that's
was later down the line, though. I promise you. I wish it was happening sooner than later, but I mean, when I needed it most, it was.
yeah, yeah.
It was.
So how many what kinds of gigs did you have while you lived in New York? What were some of your acting gigs that you got?
Oh goodness. Acting. In the beginning times, before like 2008, it was more singing
Mm,
gigs.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
After me meeting my church home at St. Mark, oh my God! Like I said, we just did shows all the
mhm,
time. Like we
right.
did so many different productions. And I don't know if you have ever heard of Bishop Nathaniel
Mhm,
Townley Jr., but he's since passed. He passed during COVID. Uh,
mhm,
um, he was prominent,
mhm,
prominently respected. Bishop Nathaniel Townley was a genius himself. Um,
mm,
he has songs that he wrote years, like in the 70s, 60s, whatever, that
mhm,
to this day are still being played. I mean, BB Winans even recovered one of his songs.
mhm,
I mean, just talented when I tell
mhm,
you.
mhm,
In the Church of God in Christ, we
mhm.
consider Twinkie Clark as the professor of the
Oh yeah.
B Hammond organ,
Mhm.
right?
Right, right.
let Bishop Townsley get on an organ, shutting everything down. I mean, things that you would never, progressions that you would never even think of.
Mhm.
Just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, um, yeah, I just come from that good stock, and
Yeah.
getting into shows, he would write shows, he would write
Mhm.
productions, he would write all these different. I mean, I've been in night songs. Um, uh, what was the what was it? Oh God, there's so many. There's so many performances that we did a lot of his original music in.
Mhm.
Um, our Christmas shows that we used to do, Follow the Star, The King Has Come. I think that was more his daughter's show,
Mhm.
but he definitely had a hand in the music, of course.
Right.
I think she wrote it, Jacinda Townsley. But I mean, there were so many productions that we used to do, and we used to do them every year, and it just kept us honing in our crafts. But not even that, we used to get contracted out, by for a lot of gigs,
Mhm.
musically. I remember we sang on Ellis Island one year.
Mhm.
Uh, we used to do a lot with the Asian community, and they chose me to do a duet with one of the main soloists.
Oh.
That was fun. Jimin Lee. Hey, Jimin. I'm sure she got her birthday just passed. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's going to St. Mark opened so many doors where, and the thing is,
Yeah.
Bishop was the type of person though he could look at you and just tell you exactly what you're going through and what you need.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
there was many times when I was in need, he would
Mhm.
just walk up to me and just put some money in my pocket,
Mhm.
randomly. I mean, it happened many times, but he would just do
Yeah.
that. That was
Yeah.
just and he was, and it always at the right time, right when I
Mhm.
needed. I told you, ram in the bush, always.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that's what I did. I did a lot of the acting performances through St. Mark at the
Mhm.
time for college.
Mhm.
The music was me seeking out gigs whenever I heard. New York is big on networking. It's
Yeah.
all So going to the Cafe Was, going to the Village Undergrounds,
Mhm.
and I used to love that spot, and that's
Mhm.
Cheryl Pepsi Riley, who today
Mhm.
is one of my favorite people in the world. I can call her
Yeah.
anytime I want just to
Yeah.
get advice, and she's a bigger star than
She is.
people realize. She had a
Yeah.
huge career
That is.
back in the 90s and early 80s, late in the 80s and stuff, and then
Mhm.
now she does all that Tyler Perry stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a powerhouse performer, but she also gives back like to
Mhm.
artists. And I was one of the people that I want to say she took me under her wing,
Mhm.
and just allow gave me advice on things that I was dealing with in the industry. But Monday night, what was it, Velvet Mondays, Black Velvet Mondays at
Mhm.
Underground. I would never miss a Monday because we used to some of the talent that you see today that are
Yeah.
I know so many of the background artists that are doing background for major artists right now
Mhm. Mhm.
that I see on TV. I'm like, oh my God, I know her. Oh my God, I know him. Oh my God, look at that. Because of those days, when I used to go to the Village Underground and sing on stage or just go to listen, you
Yeah.
know, um, you just network. You start meeting people. You start seeing. They say New York is huge, but it's smaller than you think because you
Yeah.
run into the same people if you're in that certain industry often.
So
It-
when did you know it was time to make the transition from New York to Atlanta, aka Black Hollywood?
right. Well, see, the transition happened from New York earlier though,
Mhm.
because when I got the full ride to Connecticut, I ended
Mhm.
up in Connecticut for
Mhm.
5 years.
Mm.
Went out there, completed my degree in 3 years, and
Mhm.
I had a job working in real estate at the time. So
Mhm.
I stayed there until about 2019, and then
Mhm.
I decided that I need to pursue my gift. There's so
Mhm.
often that so many people get degrees and don't actually um, fall in that industry. They
Right.
don't always get a job in that industry, and
Mhm.
I was completely set up to be an artist,
Right.
manage my own business as
Mhm.
well as be the business.
Right. Right.
So I was perfectly lined out, and I needed to utilize the degrees, that I was blessed to have, and
Mhm.
um, I have a mentor, who his name is Chauncey. Well, he played the character Chauncey on
Mhm.
Girl. Do you remember the show Girlfriends?
Mhm. Yeah.
Tony Childs' love interest in the first three seasons.
Mhm.
Artist, the struggling
Mhm.
artist. Anyway,
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
I do. I
yeah,
remember.
in those days he was very very instrumental in my life. I could contact him and ask him questions about the
Mhm.
industry. He was always gracious in giving me the answers that I needed. And
Mhm.
at the time, I was trying to figure out what my next step was. And I told him, I said, I'm interested in TV and film, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I should move back to New York, go to Hollywood, or Atlanta. He was like, your look, your type,
Mhm.
definitely need to be in Atlanta.
Mm.
Definitely need to be in Atlanta
Mhm.
because my look, my type. In acting, they always teach you that you got to know your look, your type. You know,
Right.
um, and I would find more work in Atlanta, being
Mhm.
that it is Black Hollywood, and
Mhm.
you have a lot of Black artists here, Black writers, Black directors, Black all. It's just Black, Black, Black here, in Atlanta. But with that, actors are, sort of you have an easier chance of getting casted um,
Mhm.
because those roles are here,
Mhm.
opposed to being in Hollywood or in New York.
Right.
There may
Mhm.
be sporadic roles in those markets versus to Atlanta. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, if you see most of the shows that come out of Atlanta, they're predominantly black, you
Mhm.
black casted,
Mhm.
But that's not to say that other races don't have an opportunity, they do. But that move, first of course, I prayed on it.
Mhm.
Definitely prayed on it, asked God, and I got the okay. I
Yeah.
did. Um, but I should have asked some other questions in that prayer.
Like what?
Like the struggle, like when I got here, was a pandemic going to happen?
Ooh,
Or like, was two strikes were going to happen? We're still going through the strike now.
yes.
This is the second one that I've been through since I've been in Atlanta, and I've only
Mm.
been 4 years now. So
Mm.
I mean, it's been, yeah. But God always, like I said, always has a ram in the bush.
Yeah.
I just, it was the perfect move.
Mhm.
Because as soon as that pandemic lifted and the studios reopened after the
Mhm.
first strike,
Mhm.
um, work was just coming nonstop. I
Mhm.
was booked nonstop. It was a lot of background stuff, but I was getting my footing. I was learning the industry. I was able to learn the background production of TV and film.
Right.
How the cameras work, what lenses they're using,
Mhm.
close shots versus wide shots. Even just the lingo on set. Quiet on set, or points. Points
Mhm.
normally there's a big object coming in your direction, move out the way. You know,
Mm.
just learning that lingo that they use on set, helped a lot. I learned, the process of how TV is done. You're gonna be on set for hours. Get ready.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
can be on set for hours, unless you're on a Tyler Perry set. Tyler
Mm.
get you in and out. We love Tyler because you get you in and out, and they
Mm.
well over at Tyler Perry Studios. But I'm telling you, we was eating crab cakes and lobster and steak.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot. Come on, Tyler.
I'm telling you, they feed you well over there. But you just learn how TV and film is produced, and
Yeah.
how the whole inner workings of everything, and not just the finished product.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So, what was your first Tyler Perry role? In what movie or show was it?
Oh, well, I actually haven't had a Tyler Perry role yet. I
Mhm.
Most of my stuff with Tyler was background, but
Mm.
more
Okay.
so
Yeah.
featured. I've done a lot of featured background stuff, but like I've played family members
Mhm.
to Medea, or all like that.
What
Uh,
movie?
that was Medea's Homecoming
Okay.
on Netflix right now.
Mhm.
I play a family member on there.
Mhm.
I've done. I played a airline passenger on Sisters. I've played what else? I've played a restaurant guest on.
Mhm.
I've been on Sisters quite a few times actually.
Mhm.
I have. And the thing is, you understand, like in acting world, it's not just you that can make you some money. You
Right.
know, props can too. Like if you own stuff that they need, like
Oh.
my car has been booked many times. Oh yeah, you'll see it on all the Queen's Men. You see it on the Oval because I drive a Lincoln,
Mhm.
so in those shows it needs to be a little flashier. And
Right,
even my dog has been casted in certain things too. I'm telling you, there's
really?
always ways to make it work. Yeah, when they needed a pedestrian walking with a dog, and my dog he's trained, so he can walk on a leash and not be distracted by the loud noises and all that stuff. So yeah,
Right.
saying there's so many options that you can. But those, I mean, I've been on several different Tyler Perry shows.
Yeah.
Um, I've done a few of them, to be
What you
honest.
just recently did something with Iman Shumpert and Tayana Taylor. Talk about that.
Well, I did it with Iman Shumpert. I hate that they got divorced. That's not my business. But anyway,
Yeah, I
that
hate
they
to.
were a beautiful couple because I got to work with Tiana Taylor first on
Mm-hmm.
To America with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio
Mm-hmm.
Hall, and then I didn't know that was going to happen. That her husband actually cast me in his movie. It was called Under His Influence as the
Mm-hmm.
judge. They needed a judge, and I played the judge in that.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, before that happened, we filmed his music video. He had
Mm-hmm.
cast me as his father.
Mm.
His background is the church as well. So
Oh, really?
his dad was a pastor. So
Wow, really?
and I guess I fit the part and looked the role. I mean, no coincidence, I am a PK, but
Yeah.
I got cast in that his um, as his father, and in
Wow.
flashback flashback type situation where I'm the father of a young Iman, Iman.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you were telling me that they're really great people.
very, very, very nice people. Very, very down.
Yeah.
And he keeps bringing me back. I'm gonna say yes every time.
So what is going on with the writer's strike? What's going on now?
Well, as of this past week, I'm told, well, I read the article that they are now back in negotiations. Fingers crossed
Hmm.
on that. I'm so ready to get
Yeah.
back to work. It's been
Yeah.
almost 6 months. I have not been on set,
Hmm.
and I actually, right before the strike happened, I had just secured my agent. I have a
Mm.
wonderful team of now that I love out of South, what is it, North Carolina right now, and
Hmm. Hmm.
they take great care of me. Oh my gosh, she calls me all the time just to make sure I'm doing all right, or to tell me that there's a casting coming
Yeah.
up that she's me for, or
Mhm.
all that. But the thing is, now that I have an agent, it's going to open up so many more doors because everything I have done, all the list of
Yeah.
titles that I've
Oh,
ever done,
you did it on your own.
I did it on
Yeah.
my own. Yeah, I found them on my own, or networked and they liked me and called me, that type of thing. But now that I have an agent, it will run so much more smoothly, and I will get more actual roles because of an agent, versus to, just going to do background or doing a featured part or something like that, you know.
Hmm.
So
You have a friend in the chat.
is that Melanie? Is that
Yes.
Hey Mel? Oh, me and
That's
Mel go way
Melanie.
back. Me and Mel go way back. Yes, to the Mama Joe days. I love
Yes,
Mel.
Mama Joe. I remember Mama Joe.
Yeah, we used to go. Oh, we used to have fun times back in the day. Me and Mel both lived at the house. We sure did. Sure did. Fun times. Yes, we
She
did.
said, "Hey."
Yes, she did. Hey, Mel. Yeah.
So I want to know, Dejarius, what would you say? What do you want to say to young people who, just like you, have decided, you know what? I have a dream. I have a passion. I want to pursue my passion. I'm not exactly sure how to do it. I
Mhm.
just know that this is what God has called me to do. So this is what I want to do. What would you say to them to help them get going in the right direction?
I would say it's okay to have. Well, it all starts with passion, of course,
Hmm. Hmm.
but discipline definitely plays a part. But discipline, it always helps when you know your craft, when you've
Yeah.
studied your
Hmm.
industry and your craft.
Hmm.
Um, from there, I mean, it's really just applying yourself in
Hmm.
that industry. It's
Hmm.
really, thinking outside of the box. Like, okay, I'm not booked this week. Let me just learn a new monologue, or
Mhm.
I'm not working, or I am booked this week.
Mhm.
Plan ahead my schedule. Let me make sure that I have everything in my life, because I may be on set for 16 hours. Yeah,
Mhm.
then have
Mhm.
to go back the next day and do it all over again. You know,
Mhm.
that's stuff that you need to plan out. And I have dogs, so I have to do that myself. You know,
Yeah.
I have to plan out things ahead of time for set. And sometimes you're required to bring certain items that
Mhm.
needed for set. So if you don't have it, of course, don't go out and buy it. But
Mhm.
you know, just you have to think outside the box. With this downtime, I'm not just sitting here waiting for the strike to start back up. Guess what
Right.
I've been doing? I've been over here writing. I've been over here creating my own. So
Yeah.
when I am back there, I can submit my work for
Mhm.
possibly to be aired on somebody's show,
Mhm.
or someone's network.
Mhm.
You being the artist, you have to be the artist.
Mhm.
It's not just about being cast and booked. Create your own. You don't
Mhm.
have to put on anyone else. Social media allows for all of us to produce stuff left and right now. We can be on YouTube right now with our own mini series or whatever.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm. True.
it's
True.
really, if you're creative, just be creative. Really,
Mhm.
be creative, and don't be afraid of rejection. That was
Mhm.
thesis in college too. um, that was literally my thesis. Rejection in the industry.
Yeah.
You got rejected more times than not. You really
Mhm.
are. You have to
Mhm.
have skin and understand that it's just not your moment, your time in that situation. I think in my paper that I did in college, Mark Raffaello, I think his name is, the one that plays he plays the Hawk in the newer Avenger movies.
Mhm.
He auditioned like 700 and some odd times before he got his first break.
700.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
For just one role after the next auditioning.
Just audition. You just keep your
Yeah.
audition. First of all, the thing is, a lot of people need to understand, if you get in this industry, the work is the audition. That's
Right.
all. That's where the work is.
Right.
To actually getting the part, that's the fun part. That's fun.
It's getting it that it takes
Fun.
the work.
Because now you get to tell the story of the character. You get to be the
Right.
character.
Right.
But the work part of this industry is getting the job.
Mhm.
Going in there and getting that knocking that audition out of the park, giving
Mhm.
them something that no one else can bring to the table. You know,
Mhm.
becoming that character. And it's okay that when you do go in auditions, to become the character, dress the
Mhm.
part. If you know
Mhm.
you wear a suit, come in there in a suit.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
type of thing. Think outside the box.
Right.
Commit to the process. That's
I
what I would.
remember you saying in the pre-interview that you take roles that align with your type. You don't just take everything. You
Oh no,
don't audition for everything.
no, no, no.
You know your type. What does that mean?
So I definitely always go from I definitely look for my type. Reading the script or the bio of the character
Mhm.
you're applying for,
Mhm.
you would fit in that role. Like even age wise, can I play a character that's 25 to 35? That type of thing.
Mhm.
Can I do I mind cutting my hair to look more like this part?
Mhm.
I remember when I was on the set of Genius Aretha with
Mhm.
Cynthia Eriva and Courtney B. Vance. um,
Mhm.
they my hair was a different style, and they
Mhm.
wanted me to, it was a period piece, so you have to look the part.
Right.
And what would I be willing to cut it? um,
Right.
at the time I couldn't, because I was casted on something else, but
Mm.
my hair
Mhm.
was long enough that I could do a comb back and it
Right.
still looked like the girl. Sandy, I got the photos, I swear, made me look just like Martin Luther King. I look like Martin Luther King.
Favorite shows. I've watched that at least 10 times.
Really? Yeah. That was
Yeah.
a fun set. I mean,
Yeah.
Courtney Vance, oh my God.
Yeah.
And he's married to Angela Bassett. He was so down. Came and ate lunch with us. Just sat at the table with us and ate lunch with us. Was so down to earth, so friendly. Just you have a lot of actors out there that can have somewhat of a big head, but
Mhm.
they find those ones that are just so humble. And they've been in this industry for years and still
Mhm.
humble to their craft, that they don't mind passing their knowledge along. Yeah.
Mhm. What
And
scene are you in? What scene are you in that movie?
Oh, I did the church scene when young Aretha's at the piano.
Mhm.
I did the what else scene did I do? And oh my God, that was like 2, 3 years ago almost.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember it being a 2-week shoot, but I
Mhm.
can't remember all the scenes. I have to go back and
Yeah,
watch it.
to
It's a
be.
I think it's a 4-part series.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused, though, audience. There's Genius Aretha, and then there's Respect with Jennifer
Right.
Hudson.
Two different things.
I was yeah when the one they both came out around the same time, but the
Mhm.
one I was in was the mini series with
Mhm.
Courtney B. Vance and
Mhm.
Cynthia Erivo. Yeah,
Mhm.
so yeah, but yeah, fun time. But yeah,
Well, I'm so proud of you because I just remember you as a little kid. And when I started seeing your Facebook posts and you were talking about all the acting that you've been doing and the singing and living in New York and then moving, and I just was like, I need to hear his story. I want to hear his story. And
thank
one
you.
thing that really stood out to me during the pre-interview that we had
Hmm.
is you would be talking, just you were talking about something I can't remember. And I mentioned your mom,
Hmm.
and your face lit up.
Oh, I'm a mama's boy.
Tell me
I'm a big
what
mama's.
you love the most about your mama, the evangelist, the
Okay,
singing evangelist,
yeah,
Carolyn Malone.
she gonna get me in trouble because I'm about to call out every title she has. No, no, mommy, that's my mommy.
Yeah, I could tell.
Oh my God. Me and my sisters, we all have a little, I guess, rivalry, siblings rivalry. Who's mom's favorite? And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I am. So they gonna kill me for that. They definitely gonna get me for that. My sisters. No. I love my mom. My mommy. Oh my God, she's the strongest woman I know.
Yeah.
God, I didn't see my mom go through hell and high water and
Mhm.
always come out on the other end stronger than ever. She
Yeah.
helped everyone. She always helps everyone. She has no idea the plans I have once I do make it very big, very
Mhm.
successful. But the plans that you have
Oh.
to appreciate her. But I promise you, like, I mean, there's my mom. I know I've not been the best child
Mhm.
growing up. I've definitely been stubborn and rebellious and everything else. You know, they say the PK kids is some work, but, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, I'm a mama's boy. I love my mom. I call my mom just randomly, just to
Yeah.
bother, And normally we speak at least every day, uh,
Yeah.
every other day. But mama stay busy. Mom stays
I
busy.
love that. I love that. What's the best piece of advice you got from your mom ever?
Oh my God, that's 40 years of
Mm.
advice. 40 years. I'm trying to figure out the best. Uh, um, be respectful, most likely.
Yeah.
When you respect others, you get it
Mhm.
back.
Mm.
And demand
Yeah.
respect. You can show people how to respect you, whether they choose to or not.
Mhm.
And then if you don't get it, then you can determine whether they need to be in your life or not. Yeah.
Right. Good advice.
So I mean, yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest things I think, but also one of the biggest, I always have a relationship with God, of course.
Mhm. Mhm.
Know Sister Lamone and not know that she loves the Lord.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's a
Oh
praying
yeah.
woman. I be feeling her praying on me, and I'm
Mm.
all in Atlanta, and she's in Washington State, but I still get her prayers. I be feeling
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
mean, and that hand of protection that Mom prayed over me is there. So
Yeah.
I'm a mama's boy. I I get giddy when we talk about mommy.
I know. I could tell in the pre-interview. She's like, "Oh, my mama, my mama."
I'm telling you, when I'm around my mama, the first thing I do is go to her arms. I love her arms.
Yeah.
And I
Oh.
lay on them like a little baby. I sure do.
Well,
I,
you have to get in touch the next time you come home so we can go do lunch.
I will definitely do that. I'm
You and your
actually
mama.
coming. I am coming next month. I don't know if it's the first week or the second week, but
Mhm.
baby Faith, my baby sister Faith is having her last child, and she's having my second nephew. So
Oh, nice.
fingers crossed, I may be an uncle and godfather.
Oh,
No, I don't know. But anyway,
we
yes,
will
put it
definitely
out.
have to do lunch. Yes,
Yes, I'll definitely do that. So I'll be in town, and when I come up there, I'll definitely hit you up. We can definitely do some lunch.
absolutely. Well, thank you.
I appreciate this. Thank you for thinking about
You're
me, and
welcome.
allowing me to be on
Yes.
your show.
Your story is I mean, it's only the hand of God.
Yes, ma'am.
All the things that you've been through,
Yes, ma'am.
you never let go of the hand of God. You never lost your faith. You
Gosh,
never lost your prayer life,
no, ma'am.
all of it. And look where you are and everything you've accomplished. And there's so much more to come.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's because you never let go of God's
And
hand.
the thing is, though, I definitely never did that, but I don't want to let go of me either. You know, I'm always one of those people that I want to always be approachable. I always want to be humble. I always want to be mindful that, you know, somebody's always worse off than me.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know where a person is in their life at that moment in
Right.
time. So just a nice word goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
Kind goes a long way. You
Mm-hmm.
never know.
That's
Just
right. That's right. Well, thank you for being here tonight.
be so
Dejarius. I'm still
appreciative.
gonna call you DJ. I know your name, but you DJ.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
You
I
take
love
care.
you. Thank
I
you.
love you. You take care. And I'll be watching for you too as soon as the strike is over.
Yes, ma'am. Please
Yes,
do.
I'll
Okay.
be
Keep me in your prayers. I'm gonna keep you in mind.
I will. You take care.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Right. That's our show for tonight. Hi, Nisi. Oh my gosh. I love him. He is just so, he just makes me feel like I can just go out and do anything because he didn't let life's adversities stop him from pursuing his dream of acting and singing on the big stage. And I just believe God has so much more in store for him, stuff that we can't even think of. God is going to bless him because he has been using his life to bring honor and glory to God. So I love it. It's a beautiful story. I can't wait to talk to him again, bring him back on the show maybe a year from now to see where he is and what he's doing and how God has just opened up even more doors that have already been opened for him. So I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for Girl Talk Sunday. I appreciate you all. Please share this video, this interview with your family and your friends. I want as many people as possible to see this because I think people need to know, just like Dejarius said, when you are disciplined and you are confident and you are focused and you trust and believe God, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You can do it. It doesn't matter what it is. You can do it. He went back to school and got 2 bachelor's degrees. Before that, he got his real estate license. He just knew, okay, I need to be able to fortify myself. I need to be able to take care of myself and still pursue my dream at the same time. It can be done. You just got to put your faith and hope and trust in God, and you got to be willing to do the work because faith without works is dead. I love you all. I'll see you next time on Girl Talk Sunday. Good night.